Hello, everyone. X-Wall Kill Bethelite here. And I want you to think about a merry-go-round. You know what a merry-go-round is? And imagine the people enjoying the merry-go-round, experiencing it slows down and eventually it stops. Now, most people are going to get off. Most people are going to get off the merry-go-round. And they'll go and they'll find a different ride. Yes, they enjoyed the merry-go-round, but it stopped, so they're going to find something else. But there are some people who sit there. They just remain on that merry-go-round. It doesn't matter how slow it's going. They just stay. And that's what Watchtower has in its membership currently. Because, in my opinion, if you ask me, Watchtower itself knew the merry-go-round has slowed to the point that they might as well shut it down back when they blew the generation of 1914 prediction. Now, we all know about the generation of 1914 that won't pass away, but think about the whole situation. So the situation is that there already was barely any growth in America. There are big problems in Russia, China. You know, Watchtower is not big there. A lot of the Muslim countries, they're either non-existent or nothing much is going on there. In Africa, African countries, I mean, just think about it. How much money do you think they're bringing in some of the poor countries? I mean, anybody can set up a church in Africa. But the question is, what are you getting back? You know, Watchtower is about the money. Where is the money coming from? Well, Watchtower knew. I want you guys to fact check me on this. Do your research, everything. Watchtower knew. They saw the numbers. They knew we have not had any growth of any substantial value in a long time in developed countries. We got all these issues going on. They've been having issues with Russia. They knew that the child molestation, that's going to get out. Everything else about Watchtower had been leaked online by former members trying to warn the public. So they knew this child molestation thing, the lawsuits, we're about to get hit. This isn't going well in Australia because this is getting broadcasted. Watchtower knew we already are at a standstill with the merry-go-round. It's not moving anymore. And we're about to get hit with lawsuits. And we're having problems in Russia. And we're having problems in other countries with the sex abuse lawsuits. And now we just blew the generation of 1914 teaching. We blew another major teacher. They knew at that time, I want you to correct me if I'm wrong. They knew, the leadership at that time knew, there's not going to be any growth. The money is not going to be coming from growth. The money is going to be coming from selling what we already have acquired as far as kingdom halls and properties and consolidating congregations and having layoffs or cutbacks as far as Bethel is concerned and the amount of literature that we're printing. That's where the money was going to come. We're going to sell. We're going to make billions from selling buildings in Brooklyn. See, you have to look at the big picture. Watchtower was stuck. And then what did Watchtower do? Sell. We're going to sell. That's how we're making money. We're making money by selling and downsizing and cutting back. You got Watchtowers that look like they're 3 pages now, when they used to be, they used to print a lot more. So Watchtower knew our response to the 1914 teaching blunder is not important. Our response is not important. We just need to keep people calm while we sell. They've known this for a long time. They've known the 1914 thing. Hey, that's going to hit along with all this other stuff. We're about to have another blown teaching. So they knew ahead of time. We need to start selling. We need to make what we can make in stocks. We need to get as much money as we can from the members. And we need to start selling buildings. Hey, let's sell the property we're sitting on right here in Brooklyn. Let's sell God's house. The money for Watchtower is coming from real estate. It's not from growth anymore. They hadn't had growth in a long time. They got stoppages in Russia. They're not blowing up in China. All those Muslim countries, they're not messing around with them either. Like, the merry-go-round has stopped, but you just have members that just ain't getting off. They know it stopped, but you got members that just ain't getting off. I don't know what this is flying around, but I'm in Texas, so who knows what it is. Flying around outside the car, and it is steady trying to get in. It's like, I know you got your window up down at the top, so I'm just going to keep flying around here. Excuse me, as far as keeping killer wasps out of my car here. So I want you to fact check. I want you to look it up. Watchtower knew before all this hit with Generation of 1914 and the sex abuse lawsuits and all this, that there hadn't been any growth and money coming in. That used to be their structure, was the growth. Their structure was, okay, we're going to sell this literature. Okay, the government's cracking down on selling literature when you are a quote-unquote non-profit organization, so now we'll just get donations for this literature. Okay, nobody's really taking this literature and giving us too much money for this literature. Door to door is pretty much dead, but we need to keep the people who will not get off the merry-go-round. We need to keep them busy. So let's even try having carts. We'll have people stand next to carts. This door-to-door thing is not working. It's not bringing in any money. We'll have people stand next to carts. Okay, that's not really bringing in any money. We just need to keep them busy while we sell off from under them. Every Jehovah's Witness knows about this now. There's not a Jehovah's Witness that does not, even if they somehow didn't know about the Bethel cutbacks and them just having all these Bethelites just hit the door and selling buildings in Brooklyn. Even if you have the Jehovah's Witness that's they don't even know. They don't know up from down. They know about the selling of kingdom halls all over the country, all over the place, the selling of all these properties. They know about that because they've had to be faced with the possibility of changing congregations. They're aware of that, and yet they're not getting off the merry-go-round. It stopped, but they ain't getting off. It makes no sense according to their teaching as far as Watchtower eventually getting so big that everyone knows that they're the one religion. When Watchtower already, before they started selling buildings, Watchtower already was so insignificant. Nobody thinks about Jehovah's Witnesses other than Jehovah's Witnesses, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, and different religious outreaches that are trying to help Jehovah's Witnesses. Other than that, your average person was not thinking about no Jehovah's Witness. They already were irrelevant before they started selling everything. So the reason, in my opinion, that once all the growth stopped, they ain't bringing in nobody anyway, they came up with a really ridiculous excuse for the generation of 1914 that won't pass away being false. They just started talking about overlapping generations. We all knew that that was ridiculous. The question is, why would they come up with something that ridiculous? The reason is because they knew the merry-go-round stopped. It doesn't matter what we come up with. New people ain't really coming in anyway. The only people that we're dealing with are the people that refuse to get off this merry-go-round that we all know stopped. And they're going to stay on the merry-go-round regardless of what we tell them. We just got to give them something. Everybody knows the generation of 1914 is another Watchtower failed prediction. We got to give them something. So Watchtower, being a corporation, understanding its customer base, we're appealing to people, not new people coming in that need things to make sense. That's not their customer base. It's not new people who need to be convinced and need things to make sense. Their customer base are the people that refuse to get off the merry-go-round, of the few people that are so vested in that cult that they will not leave regardless. They just need something to replace the generation of 1914. They just give them overlapping generations. They're staying anyway. Watchtower knows the growth has stopped. That's the main point. Watchtower knew a long time ago, this merry-go-round has stopped. We just got a few people hanging around the theme park that ain't gonna leave. Give them something while we sell. The ride has already stopped. The ride has already stopped. We just got people who are Watchtowers dealing with people who are born in, and they know they lose most of the born in. Most of the people that are younger, they're gonna leave. Watchtowers dealing with, let's get as much money as we can off of this real estate. That's the big money now. The big money for Watchtower, sell them kingdom halls, selling big time buildings in Brooklyn, get people to build more buildings in New York for free labor, build with free labor and sell. Sit on it until the price goes up and then sell and make billions. That's the money now. We'll build all these different facilities knowing we'll sell. When the price is high enough, we'll sell. That's the business model for Watchtower. What they were before is done. It's over with. The business model now will get the money from the people who are born-ins, the people who just refuse to leave the theme park after the theme park is closed. Those people, the people who are just so vested they're not leaving regardless. They just need something. They just need something to replace these false teachings. These are the people who are their customer base. It don't matter what they give as far as teaching, explanation. It don't need to make sense. So Watchtower is being true to its customer base. These are people that aren't leaving. They just need something to read. Give them something to read. We'll give them a reduced Watchtower. Just give them something while we sell. Have them build and we'll sell. The few people that we have, the few millions that we have, we'll just keep having them send in money. We'll still get money from them. It's just there's not no more. There isn't any more growth. They don't need the teachings to make sense. Their customer base, people who just aren't smart enough to know that the ride is already stopped. And then a few people who are desperate in search of meaning. They may get a few new people coming in who they're there just to be a part of something. It don't have to make sense. That's not their customer base. The customer base, the money is not coming from the magazines going to the public anymore. The money is coming from the people they already got. Keep them busy, give them something to read. We'll spend less money producing it, and we'll still get them to give us contributions for the literature, contributions monthly. Some of them just have money coming out of their accounts monthly. Watchtower is doing business, but technically the ride is stopped. Watchtower was already irrelevant. They're super irrelevant now to the public. On the world scene, Watchtower is irrelevant. As far as making money, they're still making money selling what their members built. And here's another reason that Watchtower knows these people aren't getting off this merry-go-round. It don't matter that it stopped. Watchtower will sell to churches and do it to the point that it's so frequent that it becomes regular knowledge. Yeah, that's the Kingdom Hall we used to worship at, and now we just sold it to Seventh-day Adventists or this church or that church. They know that they're selling these things to quote-unquote Christendom, and these people still don't leave. So that's what Watchtower has figured out. We're getting less money. We have no more growth, but the people we got, they ain't going nowhere till they die. So let's just sell. Let's sell. Let's do the Zoom meetings. Let's see how much money we can get from people. I mean, I'm sure that there's elderly people that can't figure out how to work these Zoom meetings, but let's go with these Zoom meetings. Let's see how much money we can get from people, and see if that business model works. But it's over with. It's been over with. Theme parks closed. You still just got people wandering around. Comment down below, 937-789-4029. Let me know what you think. Watchtower knew the ride was over. That's why it did not matter that the teaching that they replaced, the generation of 1914 that will not pass away, was ridiculous. They replaced it with overlapping generations. Everybody knows it's dumb. It didn't matter. People still stayed. So Watchtower was right. The people we dealing with, it don't matter what happens. They're not leaving. Those are the slow people. They're not leaving. We'll keep getting money from them. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. X Wall Kill Bethelite signing out.